Got a question for you, Paul Thurrott.
Mm-hmm.
If you found yourself in court, would you look at the judge and say, I don't think this is legitimate and this court is not constitutional?
No. What is that? There is a group of people who, what do they call themselves? They're like outside the laws of the United States. You know, they get pulled over and it's like, I don't have to show you a driver's license. Yeah. Sovereign citizens. Right? Those idiots. There are classic videos on YouTube of like, state troopers dealing with these idiots. Anyway, I assume that's not what this is about.
Oh, it's pretty close. That's what Microsoft did to the FTC.
Right. Oh. This is the redacted or
so Microsoft came out, put out a statement, said, bro, my bad. We didn't mean to include... They sent a document to the court that's going to decide if they can spend $70 billion and said one of their primary arguments with bullet points are like, bruh, we don't think you're legitimate or constitutional. Just let us do this. Like, that is...
Yep. It's a... I don't want to get too much into politics and things, but I'll just say I would maybe this is not fair, but I would imagine a lot of people would consider Microsoft to be sort of a liberal organization.
Yeah,
maybe I don't know, but then again, they are a business, and you typically get the best deals for businesses from Republicans. But that said, that's a rather Republican, kind of a filing. Like it kind of goes against character, I guess is all I'm saying.
Now, it's not completely unfounded why they did this. If you read into it a little bit further, but the headlines are great when you say Microsoft said the court.
Well, this has been the problem all along with these court filings. People who don't really understand much about the law. And by the way, I'm including myself in that. I don't mean to be like I'm a legal expert. You guys are all idiots, but I mean, you don't understand a lot about how these filings work, and then you latch onto something that to you seems like this damning. Microsoft said they don't know where Call of Duty was created. I mean, Google could tell you that. That's not the point of the 57-page filing, idiot.
So what that was based on is, I think it was late last year, maybe November of last year, there was a Supreme Court case that has not been ruled on yet to determine whether the administrative court is constitutional. So that is what Microsoft was latching onto, is that they were agreeing with the plaintiffs, I believe it's plaintiffs in that case, saying that this court is not legitimate and that it should be in federal. And so it wasn't like they were just coming out like, we hate you guys. Like, they were trying to tie in to the previous Supreme Court, which is a very legal thing to do, but it just came off really, really sour.
Because the headlines write themselves.
Yeah.
Microsoft declares that the FTC is unconstitutional. Okay. I know. Listen, we live in a world of knee-jerk headlines, poorly written headlines, poorly researched headlines, however you want to say it. But look, this is a pretty big fight. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
This is one of the biggest ones I can really ever. I mean, there's obviously the EU thing I remember with Microsoft and the browser ballot, but this is different though. This feels different to me.
Yeah.
Because like the browser ballot thing, like we all knew that was coming. Like that was like when that was brought up, you're like, oh yeah, they're probably right. But like this one, it's like, like this.
I mean, everything that happens seems like the most dramatic thing at the moment that it's happening, right? I mean, I think we can, like you just said, like we could look back on the browser ballot issue from the EU and say, man, in hindsight, like, like whatever. And what impact did it have, right? An annoying extra screen during setup for people who use Windows in the EU, and then weird stuff like, well, I don't know if it was the customer, someone had to choose whether or not to get the N edition, it was just, I don't know. I don't know what you call that. It's like antitrust theater or something.
Yeah.
But this is, the stakes here are obvious.
Yeah, I mean,
they're real dollars. And then there's like, people have different concerns, founded or not, about what Microsoft may or may not do with this acquisition once they have it, which, again, we've sort of talked about it. And I think a lot of that can be answered with consent decree agreements,
Yeah.
But
we'll see.
Anyway, yeah, no, it's I think for us, Microsoft's been a sleepy company for a while. So this is like the high drama thing is not, we're not used to this. This is it's like riding a bike, Brad. It's it just comes right back.
Well, let's hope. I don't know. We'll see. What else is going on? Microsoft shipped a build of Windows 11 yesterday with a roundier-ish search thing.
I'm going to write about that almost certainly. This is kind of a 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of a thing. Actually, let me just bring it up. So the search box in Windows 11 today matches the curved corners of the window in which it is.
Correct.
To me, that seems like the right approach from a UI perspective. However, arbitrarily, sorry. Arbitrarily, Microsoft has, without any announcement or formal acknowledgement of this, created a new, we call it a search pill, that sits in the taskbar and has a different shape. It's not this rounded rectangle. It's almost like a an oval or something. It's got a different shape.
One might even say a pill shape.
Pill. Thank you. There you go. That's the shape. So they're going to change it to be the pill shape because that's what's in the taskbar. It's like, but the whole system is using this other shape. Like, why does it have to be a different shape? I don't know. Listen, I'm sure they've spent millions on focus groups. What are people more likely to click on?
I don't think they have. I think if they spent millions on focus groups, Paul, we'd have a different looking Windows 11.
Yeah. It's going to be one of those people from the Start Menu video, like gesturing off into space. Well, we found that, something like that.
Could be.
Right?
I mean, it could. Maybe. I don't know.
I'm just looking for reason where there is none.
Yeah. Well, it is Friday after all. Of a holiday week. It feels like it's June 9th by now. But it's still
not June 19th. Yeah.
Still cold and not.
Although, like it's been warm this week. I think
it actually has been surprisingly warm. We've gone on many walks where it's been 60 degrees in January.
Yeah, I know, crazy.
The problem is, as my wife pointed out, if you get a 60-degree day in early March, you're like, like we're going to get more of these.
Right.
We're getting fewer of these. Like we've got to get through February, which is the worst month.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say something that I attribute to being a very New England kind of what I would call an old school Yankee way of thinking, which is
hatred.
It's just blind rage, really, but that circumstances beyond your control. No, is that like you have, like, in other words, like the right response to a 60-degree day in January is to celebrate.
Yep.
But the New England approach is to be like, oh man, this means we're going to get nailed later.
Yep.
Like, and even worse than usual. Like, that's the mentality. And that's the thing. I said, my daughter just went after school. We're standing outside. It's cooler now than it was all day yesterday. It's rainy and drizzly and foggy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, in some ways, like, this weather is terrible. But on the other hand, I did say, it is January. Like, we could have 6 feet of snow right now. So I guess in the scheme of things, it's hard for me to, I am still that person. I mean, I grew up where I grew up. I still have that brain brokenness, but I did have that sort of moment today where I was like, could be worse, that's not usually how I think.
Paul, I got to tell you, we screwed up. My daughter doesn't watch this podcast, so it's not going to spoil anything.
Yeah.
I believe disappointment's got to happen in life, and I was ready to do it. My wife vetoed this. This is turning into terrible. So we made a deal with our daughter that if she read all the Harry Potter books, we would go to Universal. About 17, 18 months ago is when she started. We figured we had 2 to 3 years on this.
Yep.
She's going to be done probably this month. All of them.
Yeah.
And now she's like, when are we going to Universal? I was like, well, that wasn't in the budget for this year.
Yeah, exactly.
This is...
Yep.
No, I'm crazy to go to expensive to go there.
Because what you underestimated was how badly she wanted this thing.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, we're pretty invested as a family. I mean, that's what we went to Chicago. There was a Harry Potter. It's her Star Wars. It's her thing.
Okay, that's fine.
So apparently we're going to try to squeeze in a Universal, I don't know, maybe in October. So if anybody's been to Universal and has any hot tips, I've never been.
Oh, boy.
It's going to be, I'm not.
I mean, you're going to be there. You're going to go to Disney probably or some other
No, I already vetoed Disney. I was like, this is a budget trip. This is, unless we win the lotto.
It's like you can go to the restaurant, but you're not getting dessert,
Well, the other thing too, I was like, all right, Johnson Space Center is like right there, isn't it? Or is it Kennedy? Whatever. It's like, I want to go there. And then it's like, okay, well, then we got to spend an extra day. And it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Whatever.
No,
don't make the rules. I just complain. And so I was like, what if we just told her that we can't go until next year?
See, the other thing I know about children is that delayed gratification is not a thing.
Right. This is what my wife pointed out.
Yeah, that's not, hey, congratulations on this thing you achieved. Next year, you will be rewarded for it. Because her attitude will be, if you had said that to me in the beginning, I would have achieved this next year.
Yes.
So.
I mean, she has steamrolled through. Now,
Right.
hasn't read the 8th one, but apparently
What
I've
about
never
the movies?
read.
Do you watch the movies with her?
Yeah, so she reads the
Oh,
books.
is that where it came out of? She watched the movies?
Yeah. Well, no,
Yeah.
she read the books first. Like we told her we're not
Okay.
watching the movies until she reads the books. And so she read the first book, we watched the movie.
Watched
She
the
read the
first
second,
movie. Oh,
we
nice.
watched the movie as a family.
Okay.
And so
Well,
I think
I mean,
7
you
is
could-
2 movies. And I was like, what if we just space those out by like 8 months each?
Right. Yeah. I mean, you could get her going on the Chronicles of Narnia, The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Trying to think of other kids. The problem, Sir Piers Anthony has written some kids fantasy stuff. What's that guy's name? Big brother. There's a Lloyd Alexander, another one to look
What
into.
about the Boxcar Children? Do people
Pride
still
Aid.
read that? Goosebumps?
Hello Moon. I don't know.